Hello, Kentucky. Okay, so I'm going to talk about my proposed budget and a little bit about the economics of Kentucky. Okay, so there is a Harvard study that was done in 2014, last year, that had said that Kentucky wasn't just number one for illegal corruption, but also legal corruption, which means that the people in office are corrupt. So to give you an idea about how corruption looks, my mother was sitting there talking to me about when she had tried to get some food stamps, 20 years ago when we were kids. And she was, she needed the help. She was working, had a minimum wage job, and a bunch of kids. But for some reason, she didn't qualify, and they just kicked her off the rolls. Or didn't even accept her. So I think we do incentivize being, if you are impoverished and just have the worst, crappiest, if only the poorest of the poor seems to 100% qualify for any of the benefits. And so, somebody who has a job, who is working hard, those are the people that are most deserving of, government assistance. Keep doing what you're doing. Here's a little bit of help. Go, go, go. And the reason why I mention that is because that's how corruption works. So if you're working at, I think, Citizen Action or Community Action or Cabinet for Health and Family Services, if you're working there and you have a position and you have a certain allotment, you have a certain amount of food stamps that you can give out to the public, well, you're going to make sure that your friends and your, the people that you know and care about the most gets, that application and gets that money in. And so when you're out there helping your friends and, engaging in cronyism, when somebody is deserving and needed who you've never met before, they are getting either, they'll be denied for some bullshit reason, didn't cross your T's and dot your I's, or they'll be, denied because there's no more money. You'd already passed out all your money, to all your friends. So that's what corruption looks like. And if, food stamp programs, LIHEAP, WIC, these types of programs should be equally, given out to anybody who is deserving and needing. Yeah, we don't have unlimited amounts of money, but again, by giving people who have absolutely, just the poorest of the poor, the money, you are creating a dependency situation for them, and then you're not even helping the people that are struggling, who's doing the right things. So, I wrote up a budget. If you ever seen the executive branch of Kentucky, the chart for the executive branch, there's 12 cabinets. We have 12 cabinets. And, some of the biggest cabinets is health and education, which I think we should protect. The other ones, I don't, the jailer budget and some of the other ones, I don't even know why we have those things. I don't think we need those things to pay jailers to rape us. Why are we paying public officials to commit crimes against our own people? That's how you're going to reform somebody? That's what Kentucky did to Charlie Manson. Charlie Manson came out of Kentucky and he went to juvenile prison in Eastern Kentucky somewhere for writing a bad check. He wrote a $20 bad check, and then he went into juvenile. When he went into juvenile, he was getting raped every day repeatedly, kept running away, come back, get raped again. So Kentucky created Charles Manson through the prison system. Charles Manson was a making of Kentucky. Kentucky created Charles Manson because of this prison industry that protects the rapist. Sometimes you get justice. There was that case in Grant County where the guy had got raped all night for a traffic violation, and he wound up winning $1 million. Not everybody has good lawyers that can actually get them some justice. So if you don't have a good lawyer to get some justice, we're just going to be, just some nice, fresh, ass for Bubba or for the jailers. I think that's absolute bullshit. So, but look at the map. I mean, there's 12 cabinets. So if you're a citizen of Kentucky, these 12 cabinets are being implemented for you. I've never known any of these cabinets. None of these cabinets, only like fleeting here and there. But if these cabinets are, say the labor cabinet, that's supposed to be helping out with unions and, other things. What are they doing? What are they doing? I've never, for my 33 years of existence, I have never known about them. And so, what? You have to know about where the money is, what the purpose of each cabinet is, and then you have to go and get, the services that they supposedly offer the general public. they're offering it to their friends. They're offering it to their buddies. So the general public, I would say, you know, the 90% of Kentuckians who do not vote probably also do not know that the executive 12 cabinets in the executive department, the executive branch, even exist. And so they need to do a better job of promoting and telling the Kentucky citizens what they're actually doing. And if they're not doing anything beneficial for Kentucky, get rid of them. We don't need them. So I wrote a big, long thing. I went ahead, the two main points that I just want to make actually in this video is the economic classes. It is class warfare, and so we need to say, who are the classes? What are we talking about when we say class war? So I went ahead, class warfare, so I went ahead and defined that, and then I have a list of a bunch of people who's making a ton of money, and I was just going to kind of rattle them off and just talk a little bit about that. So the 10 economic classes that I have developed in society, I've used the Barack Obama's $250,000 mark. So if you make $250,000 and below, you're part of the 99%. You do not deserve any new taxes. We can tax anybody that has $250,000 and up. The fair share, so the rich are paying their fair share that everybody else is paying. They're only paying 5%, we're paying 11%. So let's get them paying the exact same, and then we could fund most of the programs that we actually need. So I think that's the line of demarcation, $250,000. Now, the classes I have, there's the uber rich class, the ultra rich class, the super rich class, and then the rich class. So I didn't define exactly what those rich classes are because I know that there is a 1%, but I even heard that there's a 0.01%. So there's some people that just making, obscene amounts of money. And there's some people that's really wealthy, but not making obscene amount of money. So I think those are important, and I can look at those numbers a little bit closely. So here's how I divvied up the other 6 classes. So you have a homeless class, people that have no home, no income, nothing. They have absolutely nothing. That is a different class than somebody who is poor. If you're poor, you got a house, you're able to make it. You're not homeless. You're right on the threshold of being homeless, but you're not homeless. So poverty is below $12,000. So I have a rich class, $250,000 and up, which is number 4. The 5th one is an upper middle class, 6 is lower middle class, 7 is working class, 8 is working poor class, and then 9 is poor. So the poor is $12,000 and below. Working poor class is someone who is working below $12,000 but has a job. So the poor they're getting below $12,000. So I don't even know how they're surviving and they have no job. We also have a working poor class, which is, talk about an abomination. A working poor class, they have a job, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, working 40 hours a week, and yet they are still poor, okay? So then there's the working class, which I've, between $12,000 to $41,000. $41,000 is the average median income for the state of Kentucky. And that's an important point because $41,000, that is that's an okay, I've been living on I've been poor for a long time. I've been only living on $10,000 per year, for the most of my life. And, $41,000, that's a good job. Compared to like California and New York, the $55,000, somebody had posted a meme saying, why do these big trustees and these hedge fund managers make millions while a teacher only makes $55,000? $55,000, that's a good job. That's a good job. So I'm not, it is bullshit that the hedge fund managers and these finance people are making just, gobs and gobs of money. But when it actually comes to good jobs, 41, like compared to the police. Police are making in Kentucky like $30-something thousand. So the teachers are making more than the police, and then the police are making more than the 1 million Kentuckians. 1 million Kentuckians are poor. 1 million. That's 25%. 1 out of every 4 Kentuckians are impoverished. And who is talking about economics? Who is pointing out any of this stuff? Only our campaign. Only our campaign is the only honest campaign out there. We're the only honest ones. These people that say, medical marijuana, get the fuck out of here. Y'all been lying your entire fucking lives. Colorado is, crime has gone down, addiction has gone down, and they're actually passing money out to everybody. So that is, the war on drugs has failed. Everywhere that has been implemented has failed, and all the alternatives have succeeded. So if you're sitting there, you're trying to be in the middle of the fence, fuck you, you know, you're not a good person. If you're already going to compromise immediately right to our faces, I don't even want to hear about you. Anyways. So the lower middle class is 41,000 to 100,000. So the working class is 41,000 down to 12,000. Lower middle class is ones who are making 41,000 up to 100,000. So you're in the middle class, but the lower middle class, right? You're not 250,000 people. People that have making 250,000 or 200,000 aren't rich, according to how I've divvied up these classes. They're not rich, but you're doing better than somebody making $50,000. So the lower middle class, 41 to 100, and then upper middle class is 100 to $250,000. So those are the classes. Upper middle class, lower middle class, working poor class, poor, homeless class, rich, super rich, uber rich, and you know, and the rest. So who's the uber rich? Well, Rick Pitino gets $3.9 million. $3.9 million. Now, some people say that he brings in enough money, so, you know, if you could somehow justify that he is worth it, my only point is that power, lots of money, millions of dollars, that invites corruption. That invites criminal activity. So, I'm not saying anything about these particular people, but they're, you know, okay, so that's Rick Pitino, $3.9 million, which is the same as 362 Owsley Countyans. The average per capita acceptance or average per capita income for Owsley Countyans is $10,000. So the average in Owsley County is, according to my own classes, poor. They are poor, or they're the working poor. So they're either, you know, have a job or don't have a job. Either they're working all the time and, you know, or they're not working. Either way, they are making, you know, $10,000. So 362 Owsley Countyans could get paid their $10,000 if you was just to, you know, fire Rick Pitino. And, you're saying nobody else in Kentucky. Rick Pitino's not even he's not even a Kentuckian. So you're saying nobody in Kentucky is a good coach? I don't think so. I think we should give more opportunities, and there should be a better sort of revolving door. There's a Robert P. Petrino. He's the head football coach at U of L. $3 million. $3 fucking million. Jeff J. Walls, head women's basketball coach for U of L, makes $1 million a year. Every year he makes $1 million, and it's Jeff J. Walls. It's a man who is in charge of women's basketball. No woman can be elevated to Jeff Walls' position. Let's get women in charge of women. You know what I mean? Are they not, you saying, I mean, I feel like that's sexist. You're saying they're not capable. You need a man to be able to, nah, women can control themselves. Women can direct themselves and lead themselves. So let's get a woman to be the head women's basketball coach at U of L. We would also save some money. You know, take one of the great players and elevate them and see how they do. You can have, you know, coach training. Anything could be taught. You know, anybody, they could have lifelong experience, or they could be newbie and just, you know, kick ass. So you could elevate a female coach to the position of head women's basketball coach at U of L, and then pay them, you know, $250,000. You would be cutting 75%. You would save $750,000 for the rest of Kentucky, you know, to use that in a better spot. $250,000 is a rich wage. In fact, I would even suggest that everybody makes the average amount. Everybody in state government should make the average wage of a Kentuckian. Kentuckians are making $41,000. That's the average wage. There's no reason that anybody in state government should be making more than that. If we can survive on $41,000, you could survive on $41,000. And if you can't survive on that, well, let's just elevate a Kentuckian. We got 1 million poor people. You're telling me we got 4.4 million total. So out of 4.4 million people, you cannot find somebody that has enough talent that would work for cheaper? That's bullshit. We have lots of talent. We have lots of good people here. And if we don't, then we need to have a better education system. We need to be teaching people better. There's a professor at the Department of Surgery. He's making $820,000 annually. Joseph Zwischenberger. There's lots of actually health professionals who's making a ton of money. I mean, this is $820,000. A professor. Surgery's important. The medical field's important. But $820,000 important? That's insanity. That's insanity. So with the Joseph Zwischenberger, Perhaps he is that important. Perhaps he has lots of people. He teaches everybody how to be surgeons. But if you're actually a good professor, you'd be elevating other people so they could be professors. You know, everybody should have term limits. You know, if you were just to fire everybody in state government, fire all the politicians, fire all the police, fire all the teachers, all the state workers, just fire them all. And then elevate some of the poor people up. I think we would have a better, more just and fair and equitable society because they understand poverty. They understand how, you know, the struggle is. We would, you know, these people they're fat cats. They get used to, you know, this annual wage and they monopolize a position and they hold on to it for the rest of their lives. If Joseph Schwissenberger is a good professor, then there should be plenty of people that could teach surgery at, I think U of L, but, or maybe UK. But if he's a good professor who is teaching, you know, good surgical techniques and is a good, is actually encouraging people's curiosity into the field, then we should have plenty of capable people that could do his job. So we need to do this. I mean, that $820,000. Michael Karp, the VP of the Executive Health Affairs, makes $816,225. Warren J. Bowling Jr. is a U of L professor in neurological surgery, $790,000. Michael Sikela, UK professor, surgery and cardiothoracic. Another professor, $750,000. $750,000. Owsley Countyans are living on $10,000, and then this asshole has $700,000. You know, he is living the life of 75 Owsley Countyans. If I lived in Owsley County, I'd be, you know, in fact, any poor person should be sort of pissed off about this stuff. The inequality is just, my God. Robert Bowley, U of L professor chair for the medical department, $732,000. Let's get to some of the ones that aren't, you know, because the health is important, and so you need, you know, really good qualified people. But again, if they're good professors, they would be teaching other students, the people that's underneath them, to actually be able to do their job. If they were doing, you know, a good job at teaching. I bet they are just, you know, I'm the man, I get all the power and you shut your mouth. You listen to me talk and then, you know, learn that way, even though that isn't how education works. So Matthew L. Mitchell is the head women's basketball coach. Again, another man in charge of women's basketball at UK. He is making $575,000 per year. $575,000. $575,000. And then this is, I got the Data Center Courier Journal. Government salaries is where I got this from, and then there's 10 state employees that have a wage span from $575,000 to $525,000. Sorry, I'm getting a little parched here. So that's they're making more than $500,000. They're making more than $500,000, and you know, these are the richest state employees that we have. Eli Capilouto, the president of UK. $525,000. Page 4, people are making $473 to $520. 10 state employees. Daniel S. McDonald, head basketball coach of U of L. My bad, head baseball coach, is making $500,000 for baseball. Rattle off a couple more. The head baseball coach of U of L is making $500,000, $500,000. Stephen S. Watson, an assistant coach for U of L football, is also making $500,000. Vance J. Bedford, another assistant coach for U of L football, $500,000. I mean, this is amazing how much money. Assistant coach for UK football, Darren J. Elliott, $500,000, $500,000. And then it just goes on and on. For, you know, 5th page, they're making $460,000. The 7th page, $412,000. The 8th page, $300,000. And these all have 10 employees per page. So this is the, you know, they're all making $366,000 to $395,000 on the 8th page. Clinton T. Hurt, the assistant coach for U of L football, $375,000. So let's see. Robert L. King, the president of the General Government Cabinet, the executive branch, is making $360,000. $360,000. Then there's a 10th page, right? Still making 300, still rich. These are the rich people. These are all wealthy people, all making above $250,000. Suzanne T. Ilstad, professor at U of L Institute for Cellular Therapeutics, $350,000. And the gravy train goes on until page 36. So that's how many rich, wealthy people are being, off of Kentucky taxpayer money. There are 360 people that Kentucky is making wealthy, filthy wealth, just filthy rich. Meanwhile, 1 million Kentuckians are living in squalor. So, I mean, 350, that's a lot of people, right? So the president of Kentucky Lottery Commission is making $233,700. That's a lot of money. Arthur Gleason Jr. is making $233,000 off the Kentucky Lottery. In fact, I actually heard that 50 cents per every dollar goes into the coffers of the Kentucky Lottery to pay the people, the administrators. Only 50%, 50 cents of every dollar goes into the general fund for education. Why wouldn't we just make it, how hard is the lottery? I don't understand the lottery system, to be honest with you, because 50 cents on every dollar, that's a lot of money with the lottery system. Margaret Gibbs, executive VP, the Kentucky Lottery Commission, another person of the Lottery Commission, $186,000. So maybe it's 50 cents, maybe 75 cents, I don't know. Instead of it actually going to the programs that we need, it's going to the people running the programs and their friends, right? You saw all the assistant coaches, right? They get all their buddies in on the gravy train too. James R. Ramsey, the president of U of L, makes $329,000. $329,000 plus he's got that secret budget, right? He's got that secret money. Shirley C. Willinghands, the provost at U of L, is making $316,839. Chief Information Officer for UK, Vincent L. Kellen, $314,000. Wyking L. Jones, Assistant Men's U of L Basketball Coach, $310,000. David A. Borbely, Assistant Football Coach at U of L, $300,000. Bradley D. Pavetto, Assistant Men's Football Coach at UK, $300,000. John A. Robick, Assistant UK Basketball Coach, $300,000. The Dean of College of Communications and Information at UK, $299,000. Henry D. O'Hare. Alan J. Brinzel, Associate Professor of Psychiatry at UK, $290,000. And that's the associate professor. So how much did the professor of psychiatry, the associate, is making $290,000. David A. Brennan, Dean of UK College of Law, $280,000 to $19. Donna M. Hargens, the superintendent of Jefferson County Public Schools in Louisville, is making $275,000 every year. Now, the last thing I want to talk about are the judges. The judges, they're making $100,000, a piece. So they would be in the lower middle or upper middle class. Anybody above $100,000 is upper middle class. And so, that's your county judges, that's your sheriffs, that's your circuit and district court judges. So your district and court judges, let's just talk about the circuit court judges, okay? So circuit court judges, which are the big judges, the district court judges are the little ones. The circuit court judges, they have 8-year terms and they make $130,000. $130,000. Just today, I saw Jeff Young go before a circuit court judge. He had a weird name in the eighth floor, 803. I'll get the name later, but it took 1 second. The lawyer didn't show up. They fucking played tricks and shit, right? If I didn't show up for a court date, I have a warrant out for my arrest, and they're gonna kick my ass, throw me in jail, let me get raped. But if the lawyers are being sued, they don't show up. Who gives a shit? They're fucking corrupt, okay? They're corrupt as fuck. So this circuit court judge who makes $130,000 per year, an 8-year term, he's going to be a millionaire. That's going to be more than $1 million after 8 years. So these, millionaire judges, which only lawyers could be judges. And that's a great idea, right? Only a lawyer could be a judge. So no farmers, no, no anybody, no regular person can ever be a judge. Are you telling me that regular people can't judge? That's fucking bullshit. In fact, if you had working class people in the positions of judges, maybe we wouldn't have such a violent, fascist society that we have today. We wouldn't have the rapist jailers. We wouldn't have, people would be, wouldn't want to fuck people's lives over just for the fuck of it. So the last point that I want to make is the formula for how much retirement retired judges get. So there's this big thing about this unfunded pension liability that we need to pay off. $335 billion. That's what Will T keeps saying. $334 billion in the unfunded pension liability. And so there are people like the sheriff of Boone County. He tried to double dip. I don't know if he was able to do it or not, but he wants to get like two types of pensions, right? He wants to get Social Security, get this pension from the state. And he tried to, try to pull some shenanigans. So there's people that do that do the double dipping. But just if you were to do it, the right way, the way that it's mandated by law, if you're a circuit court judge who's made $1 million, let's say you've been working there for 16 years, you've made over $2 million, the state law entitles retired judges to a monthly retirement benefit of 2.75% of the judge's final yearly compensation, multiplied by the years of service. So if you make $130,000, 3% of $130,000 is like $3,000 or $4,000 bucks, $3,000 or $4,000 multiplied by 16 years of service, $3,000 or $4,000 multiplied by 16, and that's $48,000, at least that he's going to make. Nearly $50,000. Just the fucking retirement of these judges. In that circuit court judge today with Jeff Young, we didn't get a penny's worth of justice. He didn't even get to mention what he wanted to do. The other lawyer didn't show up. So, they could have called, they could have mentioned something. He drove all the way there. He's paid $200 filing fee. Has, 5 or 6 pages of really densely worded stuff. Who's going with the civil procedure rights. He's doing all the things that he's supposed to do. But when he gets before the judge is like, fuck you. Just shows total contempt. When it was the lawyers who should have been held in contempt and thrown in jail for not showing up to the court. So these judges, they don't give us a penny's worth of justice. And then once they're retired, they get paid $50,000, which is more than the $41,000 median income. So even in retirement, these goddamn, corrupt fucking lawyer, politician, judges who don't give a fuck about us, we the people, only give a fuck about the lawyer friends and their buddies and their cronies, they are getting paid in retirement more than the median income and 5 times the amount of an Owsley Countyan. 5 times. Owsley Countyans are making $10,000. Retired judges of Kentucky, and you want to talk about make sure we protect their pensions? Fuck their pensions. That's people that have worked hard. Listen, teachers. I respect teachers, and I want to protect universal education, K through 12 education. I just want democracy and civics. I just want it to be empowering. We're the internet generation, so education can be so much better. We don't need to be doing what they were doing 200 years ago, Prussian industrial model. Get the fuck out of here. Those are factories. The unschooling movement is definitely on the right path with that, but that's, so teachers, we need to, we should pay good quality teachers at decent wage. And so, they're making what, $40,000, $50,000 or so. And we should protect their pensions. Those are people's pensions, police officers, teachers, good police officers, right? A lot of police fucking suck. Just like the jailers, they fucking cover up for their own selves. I remember getting into an argument with, I forget the lady's name, is on Facebook, but she was saying that she works in the jail, and not everybody, just because you hear some bad things about the jail, not everybody is bad. Well, if you're in jail and a jailer starts beating you up and then they file, you defend yourself and hit him back, well, they're going to put an assault charge on you, then you're going to be extended, your sentence for another several years. Well, that's just based on their allegation. They started the fight. Who cares? They fucked your life. And it's all public information. Everybody gets to know what happened. Now, if one of their own people started the fight, hit somebody, a crime occurred, the jailers don't arrest him. They don't stop this shit. And then they want me to believe that not all the fucking jailers are corrupt as fuck? Fuck that. Fuck you. That's such total horse shit. when I asked her if she ever seen any crime, she says, oh, I'm not going to tell the world about the things that I've seen, which A, means that she has seen criminal activity in the jails, and then B, it says that she's protecting them and covering their fucking crimes up. If it was a prisoner, his fucking record, everybody gets to see, that something happened, right? That's all we know. Something happened. And if the jailer had started the fight, hey, get down, do this. You ain't doing it, boom, 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 right? Watch the Stanford prison experiments. It's almost like it's human nature. Like you put on the uniform and shit and you just become a monster. You just become a fucking psycho. And so, she didn't convince me. I didn't slam her or whatever. It was a friend of a friend or something. So, but she told me all I needed to know. She's not going to say anything. She would put the inmate who got brutalized, his name in the system. Everybody gets to hear about what he had done, which is public information if, anybody cared. But when a jailer does something, which they have, I know specifically there are sodomizers and brutalizers and, borderline rapists in the jails. They protect each other. They don't say shit about one another, and they allow each other to be fucking criminals. And if we as a society can't say rape, murder, stealing, violence are wicked, we don't have a civilization. This is not a civilization. We're just saying some people, by the virtue of their power, can get away with some crimes and other people do not. And that is not justice. That is, you have power, the other person doesn't, and so we're fucking over powerless people. It's amazing, actually, whenever you get like a real criminal that's loose out in the countryside. Let's look at Gallatin County. This is a place where I was born and raised. There was a Marco Chapman that had killed some children in the middle of the night. The police didn't do anything about it. They didn't catch him. They didn't stop it. They didn't do a goddamn thing. But if you don't have a seatbelt and they're, working during the day and you drive through, well, you're going to get fucked. You're going to get a violation. You're going to have to go to court. But if you're a real fucking criminal, they don't do it. They can't catch it because they only want to fuck with powerless, poor people who are obedient and subservient just so they could feel like they're doing something useful. They don't actually care about getting the bad. They are the bad guys, so they have to, fuck people over, beat them up and shit, throw charges on them, and then act like they've done something for the community. You're supposed to be protecting and serving us, and they did not do that. So that's the economics, a little bit about the economics of Kentucky. The state government, with all this amounts of money, just millionaires, all these rich people, right? Several millionaires, after several years of making, Donna Hargan's $276,000, she's going to be a millionaire in 4 years. So we're making, lots of people millionaires, but are we getting a return on this investment? And if we're not getting a return on this investment, let's start elevating Kentuckians, put Kentuckians into these positions that would work for a lot less, a good wage, $100,000. That's a good wage, and we just saved $176,000. Just with her position. Pharaoh Ramsey's makes $326,000. That's a lot of fucking money. Now, some people might argue he brings a lot of money. And so, you have to really look at each one of these positions. So, I'm not just saying because you make a bunch of money, you should be cut. But I am saying that the people in government should be making the same amount that we, the people, are making. So, if we're making $41,000 as a median income, without any health care, without any benefits, without retirements, pensions, they should be doing it too. And if you want to change that, then you change Kentucky's culture. 1 million poor people. Get us some decent jobs, develop us, do something better because y'all have fucking failed ever since this state has began. And I understand capitalism needs to maintain poor people so they can do the shit work, and the rich class don't give a fuck about any of us. Of course, they want to keep us our wages down, make us desperate, so that way we'll, fight over each other and do whatever it is, fucking capitalist fat cats do. So capitalism maintains the poverty class. It's intentionally kept that way, and we have so many state employees. We got 12 cabinets. They spend $10 to $20 billion per year, and I've seen very few benefits of the money that is being spent in Kentucky. All these fuckers that have all this fucking money, these high salaries, they are making bank. $270,000. I've been working, $10,000. So instead of just saying that's 27 Owsley Countyans, that's 27 years for one Owsley Countyan. If you're a superintendent Owsley Countyans for 1 year, you would be able to make the income that you're making now for 27 years. Just for 1 year. 1 year's worth of work. 27 years. 27 years. And that's just bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. The inequality does piss me off. Sure, talented people should be paid more, but the fact that so many people are being left behind, no fucking way. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe that the education system is elevating people the way that they're supposed to be doing, that they're supporting the 1 million poor people that the way that they're supposed to be doing. And I just don't believe it. I just don't believe that the system is actually, helping us and wanting to see us succeed. Dog-eat-dog capitalism, every person for themselves, very individualistic culture. Nothing wrong with individualism, but there's a major poverty issue, and the state government should not be making everybody else fucking wealthy while 1 million people are living in squalor.